STEM University International Rep. STEM University International Rep. STEM University International Rep. STEM University International. What are we learning? Science, technology, engineering, and math. Science, technology, engineering, and math.
1+1 = unity, and unity begins with you. Waste no time on those who wait, make excuses always late. Give your all to work today, tomorrow give your all to play. Listen to others, then be heard. Focus on actions, not on words. It's working together, it's easily done when all of us can work as one. A, agronomics, B, bank, C, currency, D, deposits, E, economy, F, flows, G, grow, H, harvest, I, invest, J, joint ventures, K, D, L, livestock, M, marketplace, N, network, O, outlets, P, products, Q, quality rated, R, reservoir, S, streams, T, tributary, U, United States, V, vendors, W, waterfalls, X, example, Y, yield, Z, zero waste.
Hi, everyone. How are you today? I hope you are doing well. Welcome to You Still Matter, a show about seniors and those who love them. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being a part of the You Still Matter family. Make sure if you hear something that resonates with you, make sure that you give us a thumbs up and you share. But listen, I am so excited. We know that February is Black History Month, right? What a way to start Black History Month and one of our own Black history legends. You may or may not be familiar with him, but if you're not, you will remember him by the end of this video. His name is Dwight Calhoun. He is an educator. He has been working with youth and adults over 35 years. Hello, President Dwight Calhoun.
Donna, let's get started.
Oh my gosh, how are you?
I'm well, I'm doing good.
Good, it's great to see you again. I'm so excited. I know that I interviewed you for another platform last year, and when I learned about you, I was so excited because of a program that you did with your grandchildren.
Yes.
And of course, we know that we have grandparents that watch us. We have young grandparents. We have maybe more mature grandparents, but I was so excited to hear about what you were doing. So we are going to just jump right in and get started on how we can certainly encourage our grandparents and how they can encourage their grandkids and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I'm gonna just go ahead and jump in because I want to set the backdrop and why specifically I chose grandparents.
Yeah.
Being a grandparent, I realized the attachment and the love and the relationship between grandparents and their grandchildren. Now, everybody, we would say I would die for my children, but I would kill for my grandchildren. And being a grandfather, I understand why. And it's much deeper than just the love attachment. To me, you can kind of see yourself in them. You see your future. And, the old folks used to say when your parents get old, do not put them in a nursing home. Leave them in the room because when the grandchildren would come over, that would give them life. That is a fact that within itself extends your grandparents' life. So with that being said, I started looking back on the relationship between children and their grandchildren. Here's some of the backdrop. When we took the move up north during the Great Migration, the parents would always send their children back to their grandparents during the summer. And I was like, wow, what is this all about? Now I realized it was the grandparents that gave us our foundation of learning. not just learning, but education, not just education, but knowledge and wisdom that's to stay with us for the rest of our lives. In a farmer's term, we would say they seeded us with all the necessary things that we need to do, need to have to grow into mature and intelligent adults. So this is why I start my program with grandparents, because I think that gap was closed during my generation, which is Generation X. That's when we stopped passing on the knowledge that our grandparents had poured into us, and we stopped passing it on to the next generation, which is Generation Y. So this program is specifically built to fill that gap of knowledge, love, self-esteem is what our children don't have. They have the knowledge, they have access, but they don't have the self-esteem. And that self-esteem factor came from our grandparents. So this is the backdrop of why I want to speak directly to the grandparents.
Absolutely. And of course, I know you're going to tell us what this program is. It is so exciting, everyone. Oh my gosh, it is so very exciting when you're talking about educating and really educating from the standpoint of what you were saying about grandparents. I mean, we learn so much from them that are certainly not in books.
That's right.
But share with us the name of your program and how it works. It is just so absolutely unique.
Okay, now there's two parts of it. I call it ag, which is agriculture, and esteem. So ag is agriculture. We were raised on the farm. That's number one. The second part of it is esteem. Now, esteem is the acronym for E is for entrepreneurship, T is for science. S is for science, T is for technology, E is for engineering, A is for arts, M is for mathematics. Now, the reason why I phrased it that way, because the roots of every civilization, society has grown from agriculture, the land. The old folks used to say, God don't make no more land. And so these things that was passed on through the spoken word, it would never be taught in class. It would never be taught at your universities, your elementary, your middle school, high school, whatever. But that was the basis of our education. So I deliberately added agriculture because we were seeded with the words from our grandparents, which allowed us to be great entrepreneurs, scientists, technicians, engineers, artists, and mathematicians. So that's the short answer.
And so very exciting. I want you to just kind of give us an example of one of the programs. I know you have so many that are interlocked, but it's fun learning. And oftentimes the children don't realize, that they are really, really learning. Sometimes in school, traditionally, and a lot of the students, it may be challenging sometimes, but it may not be so fun or like I like to call it a life skills, because I know there's a lot in school that the children learn now that they're not going to be able to utilize it later on, right? It's not a life skill. So what you do and the program you've created is just so amazing because it's something that they can use now and forever. So you can just select one of them and just tell us about exactly how it is, right?
Okay, Donna, the base of the program or my curriculum is called AgroBets. And AgroBets are agricultural alphabets. And here's why I chose that real fast. Everyone was talking about investing in Wall Street. So I went on to look at the information on Wall Street, and I did not understand not one single thing. So I said, as an educator, how can I teach children something that I don't even know? So I had to break it down to its least common denominator. So if we are to teach children how Wall Street works, we must start at the least common denominator, which is the alphabets. And it's based in agriculture. So as I was teaching and learning and figuring this thing out, Donna, I realized that the economic system And natural science is one and the same, and it's based in agriculture. For example, the first alphabets, and by the way, I use the formula 5. So if you understand the first 5, you would understand the concept of how all money work. If you want to say currency, call it whatever you want, cryptocurrency, greenback or whatever, it's still a currency. Anyway, so A was agronomics. All things that are being sold on Wall Street comes from the land or the earth, and is generally comes from a farm or agriculture. So that's A for agronomics. Now here's the tie-in. Then you have the bank, and then you have the banks of a river. I was like, wait a minute, there's a correlation between the two. Now the banks, you have Wells Fargo, Wachovia, what have you, and the riverbank, it does the same thing. They are walls that direct the current or the currency. I said, wait a minute. So the currency flows through the bank and leave a deposit into your local economy, money, ecology, or environment. Now, that once you deposit that currency that you took from the bank that grew out of the agriculture or the land, it grows your local economy, ecology, or environment. So now I began to see the tie-in how science and money is one and the same. One is synonymous one to the other. So I got on that flow and I was like, well, I need to complete it to the very end. So I created AgriBest to teach children how natural science work and money work simultaneously. So I go from alpha to omega, if you want to say from A to Z. So everything flows in a currency or in a cycle, better yet. So this is part of the ground-based level of the education program. Now, real fast. Now, to reinforce that, I say, wow, how can I reinforce that concept? So I put it in my reading book. I created a board game. I have flashcards, I have deck cards, and I'm creating that app and then I do hands-on activities with it. So I want to make sure that the kids take in the information, and we learn through repetition, and I just created different forms of repetition, ways that they can learn the program, whereas it's ingrained into their subconscious mind, like Grandpa taught us, the early bird catches worm. They seeded that information in our brain. We will never forget it. And by the way, we live by those very same rules today. So that's how deep it is. I can go a little deeper if you want, but come on with the next question.
Amazing, amazing. And again, these are life skills. These are life skills, and how you are associating the alphabet, right, to actual life and what they'll do. Now, I know you also have a part of that. You have an entrepreneur program for the children, right?
Absolutely.
So talk about that for a minute, because oftentimes we're not conditioned in traditional school not to become entrepreneurs. Many times we are conditioned to be employees or work for someone else. And so to be able to really make sure that these children are exposed and it's in their mind that, yes, they can have their own business. So talk about that as well.
I'm really glad you asked that, because this is the base of the curriculum is entrepreneurship. And you mentioned they don't teach it in school. They would never teach it in schools, because schools are designed for you to be employees. So nevertheless, so with that being said, there is even when we teach entrepreneurship, we never teach it from its base level. And by that, I mean, you buy and sell products based on the 5 human necessities. That's why these large corporations can always sell you stuff, because you physically have to have it. Number 1, food. 2, clothing, shelter, transportation, and medicine. So this is the basis of entrepreneurship. You cannot sell a product and understand the sale of products, goods, and services unless you understand the human necessities to have those things. All right, that's number 1.
Mhm.
Number two, there are 5 types of business. Okay, it's not one. Well, I got a business. No. And this is why generally most undereducated communities or minority communities never can catch up because we don't understand there are 5 types of business. For example, the first level is the manufacturer. Somebody has to make it. Number two, somebody has to wholesale. Number three, somebody has to distribute it and deliver it. Number four, somebody has to run the store. Number five, someone has to hire someone who sell it. And this is the secret formula why other communities just fly past us. It's like, well, they've only been here because they understand the secret sauce. And so one of the their manufacturer is their cousin, their wholesaler is their brother, the distributor is their sister and nephew, uncle on all 5 levels. So every time one get paid, how many get paid? All 5. And this is why they are able to surpass and zoom past us because we have never been taught the proper concept of entrepreneurship and where it starts. So that's the short end. You know, I could go on and on. If you want more examples, I would be more than happy to give it to you.
This is so exciting. And I'm sure a lot of people are certainly thinking, well, I've never heard this before. I'm sure they're thinking, where is he? How can I, how can I tap in? Where does he have a school or these programs? But
Sure.
we're going to dive into that as soon as we come back. We're going to take a quick break and we are going to answer some of these questions that I can just hear people that are asking. Okay, because this is so exciting. So we'll be right back in just a second. Okay, we are back. So excited. We've been talking to Dwight Calhoun. Oh my gosh, what a phenomenal educator and creator. Listen, I have to tell you all this before I have him continue speaking. He has performed and educated children and adults alike throughout. Now listen to this. Listen to this list, okay? Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, Boston, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., as well as abroad in Ghana, Uganda, Jamaica, Bahamas, Senegal, South Africa, and Ethiopia. Ethiopia, you can tell I'm excited, with more to come. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely amazing. And of course, like I said, this is Black History Month. This is a Black History legend, guys. If you would, I don't think we mentioned the actual name of your company. Would you tell us the name of your company and
Sure.
then just give your website address
Sure.
as well?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, there are 2 facets of it. The first for preschool to prodigy, that's Samaya Academy. And then from prodigy to I call PhD, that's called STEM University International Education. Now you can find a great breakdown on my website, and I'm gonna spell it out, Donna. It's STEAM, that's ESTEAM Africa, AFRICA.com. And this will give you a broader perspective of the research that I've done, the feasibility study that I've taken. So I'm just not just throwing something out there because it was a good idea. Based on my travels, and by the way, I want to do a disclaimer. When I was teaching in Uganda, Ethiopia, and those places, I was more so teaching the fitness concept. So that's my backdrop on, entertaining and teaching in most of the other nations, but Ghana and Uganda specifically, I've been back and forth to Ghana for 5 years. I'm building a school there, and I'm expanding the program to Uganda. So I just want to give that disclaimer. I didn't want to sound like I walk on water. However, so my website, once again, and you can get full details of who, what, why, when, where, what is the outcome, what is the generational value. That's STEAM Africa, ESTEAM AFRICA.com. And just go there. There's other websites that I have, but that's my primary website because you want to show people that you have done the research. It can't just sound good. It has to be what it sounds like. And so I'm a firm
Absolutely.
believer in that.
Absolutely. And of course, I'll have all your information below. So guys, you'll be able to just kind of click and see what the program is, as well as the products. He also has
Yes.
products. He mentioned
Mhm.
games. And I'm sure you all are wondering, well, how can we get this? How can we expose our kids to this? Our grandchildren to this,
Absolutely.
and you will be able to find out. This is just really, really exciting. I'm going to just go back. I'm going to backpedal just for a second.
Sure.
Did you say preschool?
Yes, absolutely. Pre-K.
Wow.
Now, and here's why, Donna. I didn't mean to cut you off. And now you got me
No,
excited now. And I just kind of bursted because
no,
I want to get as much information out there.
absolutely.
And I say pre-K because it's a long story, but after I had a major stroke, I could not, my cognition went bad. I had lost my short-term, long-term memory, whatever. But I realized the only thing I firmly remembered was the things I learned in pre-K. This is why I started pre-K, because this is the rudimentary part of your education. This is your base of education. And this is why I use those 26 alphabets, because I learned those in pre-K. I use your 8 geometrical shapes. I learned that in pre-K. I use your basic health and wellness concepts. I learned these things about nutrition in pre-K. So I collaborated that, and this is part of my cornerstone, which is actually a board game as well. These are 64 elements that I use that all the rest of the curriculum grows out of. It's kind of deep, but these are samples of the different programs that I have, and this is the cornerstone of my education program.
Absolutely amazing, amazing. And you mentioned your stroke. I'm always so interested in the backstory,
Right.
and what a backstory, what a testimony that and a lot of times, we hear what God meant for evil, or
Right.
what Satan meant for evil. God
Absolutely.
turned it around for
It was the
good.
best thing happened to me in my life.
And that is absolutely amazing. Who would know that from a stroke, okay, and recovering from a stroke, that on the other side of that was phenomenal creativity as an education for youth and adults, really.
Yeah.
So
Well,
absolutely
Donna, this is one thing I learned about the brain and psychology in the process of me rehabilitating myself. So, funny thing, they said when God closed one window, He opens up another. So what happened when it closed my the right side of my brain, which was responsible for my cognition, it opened up the other side of my brain, which opened up my creativity. So as I began to rehabilitate myself, I realized that I came up with these new ideas and these concepts. So I had to implement my cognition back to remember how to play the games and activities that I had created. Funny. That God knows that's the truth if I've ever told it. So that's the power of the brain, because your subconscious mind never forgets anything. And the things that are poured into your subconscious mind at pre-K and prior to, you can never forget it. It's just a matter how you go back into it to pull it out. So those are some of the triggers that I learned. And so this is why I firmly understand why grandparents said so many times the same thing repetitiously. Mama said it, the preacher said it, Big Brother said it, the people in the community said it. So we learned it repetitiously, not ever being written down. So this is the power of grandparents. This is the power of our people. They passed the spoken word for thousands, if not millions of years to us today. So it's really deep, but this is the basis and the foundation of my curriculum. All I'm doing is re-exposing what was taught to me, Donna.
Absolutely amazing. This has been such a wonderful and delightful conversation. Thank you so much
Thank you for
for
the
what
opportunity.
you do, what you are doing, what you have done, and of course, what you will continue to do to
Yeah,
impact our students. And of course, we know, we always hear our students are the future, and
yeah,
absolutely. And when they're being impacted in these
that's
types
right.
of ways, it's absolutely
Absolutely.
amazing. And I know, through your after school programs, just so many different ways that our children are learning. And thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time.
you.
And
Thank you.
again, everyone, I am just absolutely thrilled to have him on with us. And I know you guys have learned a lot. I know I certainly have. And of course, I thank you all always for sending messages and comments. And of course, as I do each time that we're on, I always like to share a few of them. There's quite a few. I'm going to share just a few of them today, okay? And then I'll pick up with additional ones. Ed Carroll Johnson says, a beautiful testimony when you step out on faith and obey God. God will direct your path. May not understand, may go through mighty challenges. Don't take your eyes off Jesus. He will bring you out with peace, love, and joy. Trust him with all your heart. Watch him take care of you. Here's one. It said, this comes from It's Your Girl, Aretha. Wow, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. There is another one. It says, this is amazing, so encouraging. I am proud of you and your diligence. To God be the glory. Congratulations. Here is another one that says, Darnella, this is not just an amazing testimony, it's a testament to your obedience to our Father God, your willingness to not just listen, but to move when I am prompted. When I am, we know who I am, has prompted you to move, and
Amen.
sitting in stillness to actually hear his voice. May be biased, but I can say without a doubt, your kind and gentle spirit is contagious. And for that reason and many more, you are favored by God. Praying he continues to bless you on your journey of life and on your endeavors. And this is regarding when Darnella, our show previously, she was on and she was talking about how God prompted her to move to Georgia from Michigan.
That's right.
And so I will certainly be sharing some additional ones coming up on some of the additional episodes. Again, thank you so much, Dwight, for
Thank you.
joining us. It's been a pleasure. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, no matter who you are, no matter how you're feeling or what's even going on in your life, always remember that you still matter. All right, so I'll see you soon. Take care. God bless, and bye for now.